Marie Elizabeth Spannhake went missing near her home in Chico, California, on January 31, 1976, but it wasn't until 1984 that a woman named Janice Hooker claimed her husband Cameron had abducted and murdered Spannhake 8 years before. Welcome to Floating Skills. If you are interested in true crime and mysteries, then you are at the right place. Do subscribe and hit the notification button to be notified anytime we post a new video. We post videos once in a week. So, if you are ready for the story, let's begin. Born on June 20, 1956, Marie Elizabeth Spannhake was 19 years old when she relocated from Cleveland, Ohio, to Chico, California, to be with her fiancé, John Baruth. She lived a peaceful existence in her new town for about a month. Spannhake got a job as a model in a camera store and moved into the apartment she shared with Baruth. But on January 31, 1976, everything changed. At a local flea market, Spannhake and Baruth got into a fight. Angry, Spannhake decided to walk home alone, even though she was still unfamiliar with the area. When Spannhake hadn't returned to their apartment after 2 days, Baruth filed a missing persons report. Despite the fact that they had a fight, he told police that he was concerned because his fiancée had not taken any of her belongings, including her clothing, suitcases, or even her toothbrush. Baruth was briefly considered a suspect in Spannhake's disappearance by the police. Someone told them that Spannhake wanted out of the relationship, and Spannhake's mother said that Baruth was a drug addict. However, Baruth denied injuring her and was cleared as a suspect after passing a polygraph test. The mystery surrounding Marie Elizabeth Spannhake's fate grew deeper over time. No one knew what had happened to her until 1984, when a woman named Janice Hooker approached the police with a terrifying story. Janice Hooker went to the police in November 1984 and told them she wanted to turn in her husband, Cameron. Janice met Cameron in 1973 when she was 16 years old and married him 2 years later. Cameron, on the other hand, had a bondage obsession that Janice didn't approve of, and she agreed that he could acquire a girl who couldn't say no to act out his fantasies on. Janice explained that they'd had a captive named Colleen Stan since 1977. They kidnapped her while she was hitchhiking. For 7 years, her husband had imprisoned Stan in a coffin-like box for up to 23 hours a day, raping her and torturing her with whipping, burning, and electrocution. Janice had assisted Cameron in kidnapping Stan, but she eventually assisted their captive in escaping. She then went to the police because she was afraid her husband would harm her and her children. But Stan wasn't Janice and Cameron's only captive. According to Janice, the first girl's name was Marie Elizabeth Spannhake. Janice and her husband kidnapped Marie Elizabeth Spannhake on January 31, 1976, as she was walking home from a fight with her boyfriend. The couple offered her a ride, but when Janice opened the door to let Spannhake out, Cameron grabbed her and pulled her back into the car. Cameron strapped a custom-made box over Spannhake's head, making it difficult for her to move or see. They drove home, where Janice tried to console Spannhake by promising Cameron wouldn't hurt her. However, it was a lie. Cameron took Spannhake to the Hooker's basement that night and suspended her from the ceiling by her wrists. He allegedly attempted to cut her vocal cords after she refused to stop screaming. Despite her inability to speak, Spannhake persuaded Cameron to give her a pen and paper and untie her long enough to write a note that read, "I'll give you anything you want if you let me go." Cameron, on the other hand, had no intention of releasing his prisoner. Cameron, instead, shot Spannhake twice in the abdomen with a pellet gun and strangled her to death. Janice assisted Cameron with wrapping Spannhake's body in a blanket. They loaded her body into their car, drove away, and buried her near Lassen Volcanic National Park. After Janice and Hooker kidnapped Stan in May 1977, their new victim noticed a photograph of another woman. Anytime she crawled in and out of the box. Though investigators were never able to locate her body, and Janice Hooker was never charged with any crimes as a result of her cooperation with police, some believe Spannhake was Janice and Cameron's first victim. Officially, Marie Elizabeth Spannhake is still missing and not a murder victim. Despite the testimony of Colleen Stan and Janice Hooker, her fate is unknown. Thank you for watching. If you have learned something about this story, do leave a comment below and support us by clicking the subscribe button. See you in the next video.